You did?
No, you're back. We lost your video for a second.
Okay.
Live from the Tickscape Studios. Let's f***ing go.
Welcome to the Friday edition. The weekend is here. The weekend gets here a lot faster when you only do 3 shows in a week.
That's awesome.
That's
Isn't that awesome? That's the way it should be.
That's the new
great
math.
for those of you that don't
Yep.
take, that's great for those of you that actually do take days off. But yeah, how's that going?
Yeah. It's you're crushing it, Matt Fowler. You're in much need of a day off. Welcome to the Friday edition of LFG. Dave Benz alongside Jim Kozamore, Matt Fowler, our producer, and Bisa, if you're watching on the live stream, in the bottom right corner. I feel sometimes like we're the Brady Bunch. Bisa, am I outdating myself? Have you in your life ever watched an episode of the Brady Bunch?
Of course.
Oh,
I grew
love
up
it.
watching a lot
Girl.
of the
No, you
older
haven't. Stop, Beeson. No,
Yes,
you
I
haven't.
have.
You're just saying
Brady
that.
Bunch,
Atta girl.
Andy Griffin, Good Times, Sanford and Son.
That is
JJ.
JJ Dynamite.
I don't like that Netflix is doing an animated reboot of Good Times. That's coming out I think next week or next month.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Jimmy
and
JJ Walker going to play JJ again?
it's all
Dynamite.
animated, so it's all I saw the first few kind of screen grabs, they're circulating, and I just
Yeah, that's a sentence I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, I'll be on the lookout for that. Hey, anything they can do to make money, really, if you can just recycle old content and make money off of it, that's
Yep.
passive income, which is beautiful. I'm all
Yeah.
about the passive
Why
income.
come up with
I have no reference.
Why
point
come
for
up with new
anything
material?
anybody just said.
Yeah. What do you?
I have no reference point for anything.
Wait,
anybody
you've
just said.
never
Let me-
seen
younger
Brady
than
Bunch,
you.
Matt?
Oh,
I'm
I've seen-
younger than you.
Of course, I've seen Brady Bunch. I've seen Brady Bunch, but everything else, no.
Wow.
How about this? I once dated a girl who looked like Alice from the Brady Bunch.
Uh-huh.
I was at a sports bar and I was hanging with some buddies and I looked at there's a girl who looked just like Alice from the Brady Bunch and I said, "Look at that girl. She looks like Alice from the Brady Bunch." By the end of the night, I was talking with her. Next thing you know, I'm dating her.
Really?
It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was unbelievable.
I wouldn't consider Alice, to be the heartthrob
No, but if you
of
knocked
the Brady
off,
Bunch.
yeah, if you knocked exactly, but if you knocked off 30 years, it was just kind of funny. She was a super nice girl, super sweet. So
Although
I,
she
was,
did-
I, always thought it was funny though. I never told her I thought she looked like Alice from the Brady Bunch.
she did know how to keep a house clean, so that was good.
Exactly.
You
Wow.
you can't say that in 2024.
Wow, the sexism. I know.
You can't say that.
What?
That's a great. Yes, you can, Matt. Yes, you can.
It's a
Stop being a
fact.
wuss.
I'm saying a fact. She was the maid. She got paid. She was the living maid. She knew how to keep the house clean. What's
Do you
wrong
know
with
who
that?
Alice dated in the Brady Bunch? Do you know who her boyfriend was in the Brady Bunch?
It was like George the meat guy, right? The
Close. You're
butcher.
very close. Yes, Sam the Butcher.
Sam the butcher. Sam the butcher.
Sam the Butcher.
George the
George
meat
the
guy.
meat guy.
Yeah, you're in the ballpark.
Sam was bringing home the steak and the sausage for her, and she was loving
Yeah.
it.
So now you're just getting
Nice. Okay,
nasty.
All right.
Now you're just getting
That's-
filthy.
That's uncalled for.
Poor Alice. Yeah, don't denigrate Alice with your besmirching speech.
I had no idea that I was going to start the show talking about the Brady Bunch. I honestly, guys, I was like,
Pisa's fault.
I was not 100% sure I was going to be able to get myself off of my couch to even start the show.
Really?
For the first time in like 2 weeks today, I went and worked out. I did work out a little bit when I was over in London, but I go to F45 here in the Bay Area, and I often
That's a humble brag.
I often think to myself, like, oh, this is a little bit easy. Maybe I should do something harder. Don't go for 2 weeks and then try going. And it was like, it kicked my butt. And I walked back in the house afterwards and I was like, I can't move. So
What'd you do? What kind of workout? What's F45?
There's different stations, so you have to go and do a workout at one station and they time it and then you move to another station. But today was a little bit different. Normally it's like each set is like 45 seconds to a minute, and then maybe you rotate. But today it was 6.5 minutes of I did 6.5 minutes of burpees. to start. That was how my day started.
Whoa!
6.5 minutes of burpees. The
I
target.
wouldn't be able to walk tomorrow. Tomorrow, it would be over.
Yeah, the target.
Burpees are one of the great exercises of all time.
The target number was 60 in 6.5 minutes, and I got to like 52.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and I was definitely on the weaker end. Anyway, so and Coach, you had some athletic exploits this morning as well, which put your appearance on the show perhaps made it a little precarious to start today.
Yes, it did. I was in a challenge match pickleball game, and we were challenging another team in our ladder league, and so we were playing best of 5 to 15, every game to 15. And it was a fabulous matchup. We played for 2 hours, and we were tied 2 games apiece. That's how long these games were. And then we were playing game 5. We're down 4-0 when my partner hits a kind of a bad pop-up lob, and I take a step back, and the guy I'm playing against just pounds it, and he crushes it right into the middle of my face and hits me right on the tip of the nose and crushes me. And I start bleeding. I drop the paddle. Yeah, it was a nasty hit. And I got dazed a little bit to the point where we had a forfeit game 5. I was willing to give it a try, but my partner said, nah, it's not worth it. And it was a challenge match.
Wait.
Yeah.
What kind of partner is that? You're willing to go. You're the one with the bloody nails, and he's like, nah.
Yeah. Well, I do think he was exhausted. They were picking on him for 2 hours. I mean, they were picking on. I played pickleball for 2 hours, but he played the equivalent of 4 hours worth because they just kept picking on him. And Dave, you know what that's like. You know, like your partner's getting picked on, A, and B, you're like you try to force yourself into the game. You know, like you're trying to get into the game. And but when he peppered me. He just pounded that ball right in my nose. I'm only happy he didn't hit my teeth, because he probably would have shattered my teeth.
Hey, Coach.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brady Bunch, how about this?
You guys. Ew, ew. So, you okay? We're really sorry.
My nose. That's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That is awesome.
And again, Matt's like, I have no clue what you guys are talking about.
That's where, was it Marcia or Jan who took it right in the schnoz?
That was Marcia.
Took it in the schnoz.
Schnoz.
For prom, right? They were going to prom?
Yeah, I think it was right before prom. She had the big prom date. I don't think it's the same episode when Joe Namath showed up, but
no.
By the way, I saw something. I'm not on. I've been off the social medias for a while, but I do remember. I do remember like 2 years ago seeing something on Instagram that somebody had actually bought the actual Brady Bunch house.
True. Yes.
Yep.
Do you know it was a TV show? They were on HGTV. They remade the Brady Bunch house. Someone bought it, and then it was a show in which I think some of the characters from the Brady Bunch, who are still trying to suck off it, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, shoot, if I was in a show, let's say in the equivalent would be in the 80s. If I was on a show and I was a kid actor in the 80s and they were doing Comic-Con and they wanted me to come out, I'd be there tomorrow taking that check and signing autographs. Fair enough?
Of course you would. Of course
Absolutely.
You would.
So I'm not ripping them.
We're going to fly you into San Diego, put you up in the Four Seasons, and we're going to pay you $10,000 to go shake some hands for 2 hours and sign some autographs.
Yeah, where do I sign?
Yeah, where do I sign? I'm in. Anyway, all right, so we got a lot to get to on the show today. Obviously, we're going to talk NCAA tournament. The big upset of the day yesterday was the Oakland Grizzlies, proving that the NCAA tournament formula may be broken for John Calipari, and we're going to get into that. I know that's a big topic of conversation where you are, Coz, in the heart of SEC country. We're also going to have Tim Miles, who is the head basketball coach at San Jose State. He's going to be kind enough to join us in the 11 o'clock hour Pacific today, 2 o'clock Eastern time, to talk about the NCAA tournament and his thoughts. And, of course, the San Jose State, part of the Mountain West, Nevada, an absolute collapse yesterday for Steve Alford. They were up 17 points on Dayton with 7 and change to go, and they end up losing.
Those highlights look like a video game, literally. Like, you know, if you're just playing and the other team just quits, like the controller unplugs. I mean, it was just not. It was just.
Wouldn't you just, like, at some point, wouldn't you have possession and just hold the ball until the shot clock ran out? You know, take 35 seconds off the clock every time you get the ball.
Yeah, well, whatever. I wish. I'm sure Steve Alford wishes he had it over. I was texting with Tim yesterday, and he said the NCAA tournament makes players do weird things, and in some cases it makes them do amazing things, and in some cases it makes them freeze. But we're going to talk about that a little bit when Tim joins us. The other Mountain West team that I was really disappointed in yesterday was Colorado State. They were up 8-2 on their game against Texas. And then they were trailing 27-11 at halftime. So Texas closed the first half on a 25-3 run. I was like, I didn't see that coming.
No.
So a bad day for the Mountain West, but we'll get Tim's thoughts. And Tim is he's a terrific coach. He's coached all over the country. Had great success. He was in Nebraska for a long time, and he's been an analyst for Fox Sports amongst other people. So we'll get his take on it. And we also need to talk about DJ Burns, man. NC State just keeps rolling like a runaway train. And Matt Fowler, you brought up the 1983 Jim Valvano NC State team on the show yesterday, and they had to run through the ACC tournament to get to the NCAA tournament like they did this year. It was a little bit harder this year than in 1983 because they had to win more games.
There was 3 games in '83. There's 5 games.
So, I mean, they're just on a roll right now. And DJ Burns, man, I look at this guy, and he reminds me of Oliver Miller. He is just a load, and I don't know how you match up against him, Coz.
I have no idea, but that's what the fun of the NCAA tournament is, right? It's all these teams that we kind of know about, and then all of a sudden we glom on, and a guy gets hot, and someone does some interesting things, and we get to see real drama come out. We're always looking for reality TV. Right? All those reality TV shows, which are fake as can be, The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, The Golden Bachelor, your islands versions of shows. This is reality TV. It's players who are great for 30 games who can't get out of their own way once they get to the one and done scenario, or the vice versa. They're just really good average college players, and they get to this big shining moment, and the light shines on them, and they get the job done. That, to me, is what makes this such a beautiful time, is that you get to see these. You would never pick Oakland University over Kentucky, all right? Never in a million years. The start of the year, at the end of the year, in the middle of the year, anytime. And yet, the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, my sister's alma mater, and I've now remembered my first ever girlfriend's alma mater. She went to Oakland University as well. They come up with another huge NCAA tournament win. Good, and good for their coach for saying, hey, we're not Cinderellas, okay? We're here, and we're a real good team. Good for you.
Well, that was a great story because their coach, whose name I don't know if I should know it or not.
I don't either. No, you shouldn't know it. Nobody even knows where. Everyone thinks Oakland University is in California.
Right.
So it's not.
Well, their coach has been there for like 40 years, and they were saying last night that one of the players that he is an alumni of the program. Excuse me for 1 second.
What the heck's going on?
Sorry about that. I had to clear the throat. One of the players that was an alumni, his son is now on the team 40 years later, and they were joking about, hey, the best thing he ever did was recruit the dad because the son is one of the best players of the program. We're not talking about Jack Golke. Jack Golke's the guy who hit the 10 threes yesterday. I will tell you, shocking
by the way, did he just get out of his accounting job earlier that day, and then he went over for open gym? And he hit 10. It looked like he's 34 years old. He probably had to drop his kids off at school.
Yeah, they had, 5 seniors and 2 transfers on their team. So I do want to get into that, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit next segment before Tim Miles comes on. But I'm just wondering, listen, for years and years, we saw John Calipari, just roll out the best freshman class in the nation and have tremendous success. I don't know if that holds up anymore in the NCAA tournament as it is. But before we get into that, should we take a look at our bracket and see how we fared yesterday? And
well,
our
the only guy
radio show bracket.
Yes, we should, because the only guy who's helped us worth a spit was the Matt Fowler. That guy's picked more upsets in the whole thing than anybody.
Yeah, Matt crushed it. I will tell you on my personal bracket, this doesn't help us. I actually did pick Oakland. I don't know why.
Get out of here.
I did. In my personal bracket, I picked Oakland, but that was one of the very few games.
Was that a mistake?
Right.
Did you do that by mistake?
No, I did it on purpose.
You clicked the wrong button or something?
No, I did it on purpose. I just don't believe in Calipari. Like they haven't, and I don't like Kentucky, to be honest with you. So there's a little personal bias there. So
Wow.
I just, I take.
Why do you hate the good people of the upper South, the North South?
Listen, I have great respect for John Calipari.
I don't. But go ahead.
But my angst with John Calipari dates all the way back to when UMass was being coached by John Calipari, and he knocked Syracuse out of the NCAA tournament.
Gotcha.
So I've
Gotcha.
never really cared for him and the going all the way back to his time with the Minutemen. All right, let's take a look. By the way, Coz, breaking news. Let me.
Yes.
Where's my
I love it. Give me the
breaking news
sounder.
Here we go. Here we go. Here's our breaking news. I was talking yesterday on the show about I need a longer clip than just a 1-minute version of the NCAA tournament theme. And then right before the show today, what did I find? I found a 1-hour version. We can literally play this for the next hour. A 1-hour version of the NCAA tournament theme.
Let's go.
No. God, I'm going to not watch it. But I know that all of you are all geared up for the women's NCAA tournament because it's garnering all the attention right now on the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network's website.
You know what we need to you know what we need to do one day when we get into summer and there's nothing to talk about? We should do a bracket ranking the best themes. Because, the NCAA tournament theme, it's iconic. Everybody knows it. You've got the Monday Night Football theme. You've got kind of putting them into a bracket and having people chime in.
Well, that's
that might
a
be
good
kind
one.
of fun.
Yeah, that's a good. Would you put the old NBA on NBC?
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, with John Tesh.
Yeah.
With his musical stylings of one John Tesh.
Yeah, and then they would play
Still getting
Hadaway
paid for that, by the way.
They would play the instrumental version of Hadaway, "What Is Love," as the background on all the highlights. I don't know if you remember.
Wow, I
that.
don't remember that. I don't remember that.
I do remember that.
Now let me ask one shining moment. Are there two versions? Is there the Luther Vandross and the Kenny Loggins, or has it always been one?
Is there a Kenny Loggins version? I never heard of the Kenny Loggins
I thought there was.
version.
I thought there was a.
I know that
Kenny
they
Loggins.
remade it. Luther Vandross was the gold standard, and a couple of years ago they did a remake, and everybody balked at it. So they went back to the Luther Vandross.
All right.
Yeah, they should.
Wait, Dave, lower that for a second.
Okay. What do you got?
All right. Here you go, Coz.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. John Tesh, the musical stylings
This is
of
the NBA on NBC.
Oh, well, you know who
Marv Albert
we need
and
Craig.
Mike Fratello,
We need Craig Minervini back.
the czar of the telestrator.
Craig Minervini did the
we gotta
greatest
get him
Marv
on.
Albert impersonation ever.
Yeah, we got to get him on and play that music and have him introduce the czar of the telestrator.
We'll have him come on when we actually do our theme song tournament. We'll have Craig come on and kind of do the intro for it. For
Yeah,
us.
that would be pretty good.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. I'm gonna go back to
Although
the
his Florida Panthers took it right in the shorts last night as my Nashville Predators beat them 3-0.
Yeah, well, I think the Panthers will still be okay by the postseason. As will the Preds. All right, let's go through.
Preds are fighting for it. Go ahead.
Let's go through our first. I'm just going to start here in the East region. I'm going to go through the bracket for games yesterday. Matt Fowler predicted Duquesne would beat BYU. That happened while we were on the air yesterday.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And Matt Fowler.
Buy a lottery ticket.
That was money in the bank, Matt
In the
Fowler.
bank.
So
Yep.
then, and the other side of that matchup, Illinois, they won easily yesterday. So Illinois moving on. We had that one correct.
Yep.
Washington State, they had to battle, but in the end, Washington State, first time since Klay Thompson was playing for Washington State, they get a tournament win.
There we go.
I'm a Kyle Smith guy, big Kyle Smith fan, and I think that he will eventually get hired by a bigger university. But he was great at USF. He's been so good at a really tough place to coach, and Kyle Smith's going to be a big name that somebody's going to go after.
So far, we're 3 for 3 in those picks, guys, on this bracket. And then Iowa State, the Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa State, moving
Took care
on.
of business. Yep.
Winners.
So we're 4 for 4. North Carolina over Wagner. 5 for 5.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, Michigan State.
Wah,
That-
wah.
That's our first loss. All right. So
Who made that pick? Who made that pick?
Not me.
I don't
did.
remember. We should have kept track of who made the picks.
Yeah, I made that pick because I'm a Michigan State grad and I went against my school.
All right, so that puts us at 5-1, and then we had
can't watch these
Nevada over
idiots.
Dayton, and as we discussed, Nevada should have beaten Dayton, but that puts us.
That was messed up.
That was
that-
messed up,
that-
and that
Way
was
to go.
Beast's pick. That was Beast's pick. That would have been
Yeah.
money.
Sorry, Beeson.
And that was a good pick though, up until 7 minutes left. You were looking sweet, B.
Yeah, so that puts us at 5-2, and then Arizona, no problem with Long Beach State, so 6-2 on that
Yeah.
side of the bracket. Over in the South region, let's see, Texas Tech against NC State. That puts us at 6-3.
Wait. Who took Texas Tech?
I think I didn't take that.
I don't know. I don't think it was me. I don't
I
think
think
it was
I
me.
did in my personal
I
bracket.
I would have taken NC State. I didn't take that for our bracket. I took NC State for my personal bracket.
Yeah, you know what?
I took
don't,
Texas
I
Tech.
don't think it was me, but it could have been possible it was me.
You know what?
because-
I'll take blame for it. I'll take blame.
In any case, that puts us at 6-3, and then Kentucky, Oakland. Okay, so now we're at 6-4 after a 5-0
Yeah.
start here going
Get
through
back
this.
to reality.
Let's see. Then Gonzaga. Okay, they win. That puts us at 7-4.
All right.
Yes,
all
you
right.
get-
Kansas survives. We need to get into that, by the way. That puts
That's
us
a
at
joke.
8-4.
There we go.
We should
okay.
be 7-5.
Oregon pulls the upset, 9-4.
That was another Matt Fowler special.
Creighton moves on, 10-4. Colorado State, we talked about them. That puts us at 10-5.
That was me.
And
That
then
was me.
Tennessee absolutely rolls.
Yeah.
So we go 11-5 on day one, guys.
Hey,
and
that's more than 2/3. There we go.
I'm wondering,
That's darn good.
did we lose any Sweet 16 teams?
You put a dime on every one of those games, right? And you've done all right.
You've done all right.
I don't think. No, we did. Okay, we did lose. We had Kentucky not only in the Sweet 16 but the Elite Eight.
Yeah. Yeah, but a lot of people did. That's not going to hurt us.
That's the
a lot
only.
of people
That's
did.
the only Sweet 16. That's the only Sweet 16 team we lost was Kentucky. So
Yeah.
we could still get 15 Sweet 16 teams.
Yep. And I would, well, without knowing who's in the rest of that bracket, I would think a lot of people had put Kentucky into that Sweet 16.
Yeah. So we're looking okay. I'd say 11-5. I'll take that. Had a couple of good upsets. And
Dude, I would take 11-5 all day. I was probably on my personal bracket. I was probably 7-9 at best.
7-9. Really?
Probably, yeah. You know, I'm gonna see if I got an update on my bracket.
That's not good. 7-9 is that's
It's horrible. It's horrible.
yeah.
I took all the favorites. I did nothing but take favorites, except a couple of let's say 14 of the 16 were favorites, but the two non-favorites that I took lost.
Didn't Drew Goldfarb just tell us yesterday that you can't take all favorites because you have to win and succeed at such a consistent level?
That didn't make sense to me.
Well,
That doesn't make sense. Does that
You
make
know,
sense to you?
You know.
because
initially-
he said it because the money doesn't make sense because there's not enough payoff on the favorites, on the heavy favorites anyway.
Yeah, that was for making money.
Yeah, that was more gambling than necessarily for your bracket.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Let me
11-5 yesterday. We'll see how we got two games going on right now. Baylor is absolutely pounding Colgate, the Red Raiders.
Yeah.
By the way, I will give 5 sandwiches to either one of you if you can tell me right now. Coz might actually know the answer to this, so I should probably not put up 5 sandwiches. But if either of you can tell me without looking it up, who was the star player on the first ever Colgate Red Raider team to make the NCAA tournament?
Oh, the big center for the Golden State Warriors.
I need a name.
Yeah, I know.
You got
Come on,
5
Matt.
seconds.
Matt, you got to know this.
4,
Wait.
He was a center,
3,
and now he does a lot of analyst work for them.
2.
And he's a businessman. Business.
Donald Foyle, I just said.
Oh, Matt.
At the buzzer. At the buzzer.
All right, I'll give you guys each 2.5 sandwiches. I'll put them on the
I
sandwich
like
board. I
All
knew
right, I
because
gotta get my march-
I actually covered that Colgate team. That was my first full-time job in TV, and that was part of the Utica, New York television market. They had the Colgate University in Hamilton, New York, and that coach of that team was coached by Jack Bruin, who is no longer with us, God rest his soul. And they had a great shooter, a three-point shooter named Tucker Neal. By the way, I'll tell you a funny story about that. If I totally want to digress, as we often do on this show.
Well,
So-
hang on 1 second, Dave. 1 second. If Colgate loses to Baylor, Baylor doesn't have any healthy teeth anymore, right? Is that how that works? Colgate. No one. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
That
Matt.
had to be a stolen joke.
Yeah,
that was stolen.
Yeah, that was.
Oh,
That
Give
was,
it back.
Colgate? Come on, man.
Give it back.
All right. Anyway, continue, Dave. Sorry.
Anyway, by the way,
Fair.
okay, I got two places I can digress to. One involves my former employers, the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know if you saw that one of their assistant coaches got arrested earlier this week for
I did see
stealing
that.
the laptop and taking information off the hard drive of the
Did you know
assistant
that guy?
GM.
Did-
Yeah, I
did you-
did. I did know him. I do know him. I did do. He came to my going away party. So
Okay.
that's a whole. I haven't talked to anybody up there about that yet, but maybe that's a whole.
How
different
many
story
games
going
were
on.
yesterday? How many games were played yesterday?
16. Are you still counting?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking at my bracket right now.
Okay. Well, while you do that, Dave.
All right. I'll tell you my story about the Colgate Red Raiders. 2004, 2005 NCAA tournament. They go for the first time ever in school history, and rather than travel to watch them play in the NCAA tournament for the first time ever, my station general manager says, no, we're not going to travel to the NCAA tournament to go cover them. Instead, I want you to stay in town because there is a big curling tournament going on at the curling club this weekend, and you need to be there to do live shots on Friday to preview it.
Dude, I'm your
my.
guy. I'm your guy, dude.
Oh, so I was not really very happy about that. The backs. By the way, you can't make this up. Literally, 2 weeks later, the Utica Curling Club, and I had nothing to do with it. I can say this totally clean. It was totally coincidental. I was burning inside at not being able to go cover the NCAA tournament. 2 weeks later, the Utica Curling Club went up in flames and burnt down to the ground.
You're kidding.
No,
You're kidding.
Totally serious.
What caused the fire?
I think it might have been an electrical shortage, and I just remember it was
Insurance.
Probably Dave's rage was just
Yeah.
his
was-
rage
Yeah.
inside. Was
You're
what
burning
caused-
fire.
It was on the front page of the paper, and I remember walking in the next day, and the paper, people had put copies of the paper on my desk. There were like 8 copies of the paper on my desk because everybody knew I would be secretly so happy about it because I was so mad at my GM. I think he had. I don't know what his ties to the curling club were.
Dude, all news is local. What are you worried about going off to the NCAA tournament when you got a local
Because of the
curling
NCAA
tournament
man.
going on? But that's nobody cares about it. We care about curling in Utica, New
We
York.
don't care about curling.
Coach,
Where's Colgate? Is Colgate
it's in
Utica?
Hamilton, New York.
Okay, that's not Utica.
It is. It's in the Utica market. It's a suburb. It's a distant suburb, but it's in the Utica
Distant
TV market.
suburb.
Yeah.
Distant suburb.
By the way,
Come
Dave,
on.
Dave, I know we have to go to break, but after the break, because I don't want this to just not be brought up at all because we have so much other stuff. After the break, we got to talk about the fact that the Timberwolves ownership group may be
Oh
in
my God.
trouble with their lack of
this
payments.
is.
Yeah, we can get into that. I mean, I have some
Yeah.
thoughts on that.
Yeah,
They
I
might have
mean,
found another investor, but
Yeah, I'm sure
you've
that's
gotta
gonna
say
get
their
straightened
name
out.
right. You've got to say their name right.
I did.
You said Timberwolves.
Matt, you do not pronounce the L.
Timberwolves.
There is an L there.
Yeah, Timberwolves.
No, you're still
Wolves.
saying it. You're still struggling to say it,
Unbelievable.
dude. Just call them the Wolves.
The The Wolves. Okay.
You're still okay. Anyway, all right. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, I do want to get into the end of the Samford game yesterday against
Yes.
Kansas. They got robbed, and I know that there's probably too much replay in the NCAA tournament, but they need to adjust their replay system. And I do want to address that with Tim Miles when he joins us, too, in the 11 o'clock hour, so we could talk about that. And I also want to talk about the fact that the NCAA March Madness app now is no longer totally free, which is actually not a good thing. So we've got a lot to get to.
Oh, look at you. Anti-capitalism. Go for it.
I'm not anti-capitalism, but I mean, I like my March Madness thing being free. What's so wrong with that?
See, look at all you guys want free stuff. You don't want to have to pay for anything.
I want
You're
everyone
like,
free.
what is it now? What are these kids now? What's after Gen Z? What are they called?
Gen
don't know.
Double Z.
Yeah, I know.
All right,
Well,
let's take
you
a
know-
timeout. Matt Fowler with the sports update after this.
The aughts. I think they're called the aughts.
Yeah. By the way, today's Celebrity MMA Day as well, and it will be NCAA tournament
Well,
related.
Because when they start charging for SEC games just for you to watch it on TV, you're going to be pissed too. So there
They
you go.
do. They make me get it on cable.
Well,
The SEC network.
when it gets worse, when they start opening the prices, we'll go to break. We'll be back right after
You,
this.
you're
Short
weak.
edition, Matt.
Weak.
I love when the show is just all over the place. It's awesome.
It is funny. I know that we could just like not get into that Timberwolves thing, but that I mean, independently of
Well, that's
Uh,
been in the news for a little bit. So
but we haven't talked about it at all. I mean,
right,
that's
I
a-
know. So anyway, this guy Somac, my buddy was calling me and told me about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna take down the
yeah.
down the audio on the live stream on this part.
Okay. I did think about that.
There you go. So anyway, interesting. Oh, we also got to talk about this guy who.
Oh, the child support guy.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
there's also a tweet that who's Jeff Fletcher?
We had Jeff Fletcher on.
Did we
our
have him
show.
on? Okay,
We
all
did.
right. Well, then we should quote him.
What's the story? It's
That he talked to several of
Oh, yeah.
Shohei Ohtani's former teammates.
yeah.
That he never paid attention to other sports.
Yeah, because Jeff's with the Angels. Yeah, there's not another
Yeah.
Jeff Fletcher. Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. So what do you think really happened then? I mean, do you think he just wanted to loan him the money and?
I have no idea. I mean, he may really have been a victim of crime, of theft.
I just don't know
Bitch,
how,
stay in this ballgame.
I just don't know how you get somebody's routing and account information without.
Dude, it's called
stealing it.
theft.
Well, no, I know. So that I know.
What-
I'm saying.
What channel is the FAU game on?
I think True TV.
I think it sounds actually on CBS. I'm starving, by the way. I didn't have time to eat anything before the show
didn't-
today.
I didn't need anything. All right, coming back.
Welcome back to LFG. Let's go on the Tony Bruno Sports Network.
It's the bottom of the hour, or close enough. Time for your Tickscape Studios Sports Update with Matt Fowler.
The Detroit Lions on Thursday released veteran cornerback Cameron Sutton, who is still wanted by police in Florida because of his alleged involvement in a domestic violence incident and a lawsuit accusing the NFL's disability plan of violating its duty to retired players by routinely denying valid injury claims can proceed to trial. On most counts, a federal judge in Maryland ruled. But they cannot pursue any wrongdoing or charges against Roger Goodell and others, but they can on a company basis. For all the latest news and updates.
What the hell does all that mean?
I have no idea what that last story was. What was that last story?
Okay.
Dude, the NCAA tournament's going on. You didn't give me one score.
Yeah, I know. What's up with that?
There's 2 games going on.
You
All
got
right,
a
hang on.
chance to give live scores for the first, that doesn't happen very often. You got to embrace that, buddy.
Okay, all right. I will.
What was that?
But-
Yeah,
But
let's
wait, what
finish
is the NFL story? What is the NFL story?
so-
Your music
so-
was too loud a little bit, by the way.
So the NFL story apparently is there's a lawsuit involving the NFL's disability plan for retired players, and they would deny valid injury claims allegedly, and so they sued for this, and a judge.
So
has
the
ruled-
retired players are saying that the NFL denied their claims.
Yes,
And this is a lawsuit by the former players.
yes. And
Yawn. Give me an update on what's going on Northwestern and Florida Atlantic.
All right, stop being so. You know what? I am the
Let's
producer
go.
of this show. Stop being so demanding, okay?
You are welcome to turn my mic off so I can go and do some other things.
All right.
All right.
Northwestern is up by 3 against FAU with just over 5 minutes gone by in the second half. And Colgate and Baylor are at the half. Baylor is up by 20 on Colgate.
And Matt, do you have any action? Any action going on any of this?
I have no action.
All right.
Just chilling.
Matt, did you make any money on the, you picked a lot of upsets. Did you make any money on your upset specials?
Nope. Didn't put any actual dollars down.
Well,
What's going on
that's
with
a
that?
Shame. That's a shame.
You bet on random game during the middle of the week with 2 schools you couldn't pick the state that they play in. And here during the tournament, the biggest gambling event outside of the Super Bowl in America, North America, and you place no bets.
I will place bets. It will happen. I just, I'm
He
being
was busy.
responsible with
He
money.
was busy producing Celebrity MMA.
Exactly.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's true.
tiramisu we got right there, Coach? Who do
Yes, tiramisu hanging out with me here on the couch as we watch a myriad of games.
we got? That is fantastic. Do you also
Yep.
have the women's tournament up somewhere, Coach?
I will, because I know how much you love the women's game, Dave. I'm going to have a second TV up here watching nothing but the women's game.
Hey, you know what? You know what, Jim? My neighbor called me yesterday. He said, "Are you gonna watch the Caitlin Clark in Iowa on Saturday?" I
Okay.
said, "I wasn't planning on it." He says, "Can I come over?" I was like, "Bring pizza. We're gonna do this. Let's go."
That's cool. That's cool. And let me say this. That leads me to this cogent point. I don't think more people are watching the women's tournament. I think more people are watching Caitlin Clark. Because as your neighbor said, are you going to watch Caitlin Clark on Saturday? Not are you going to watch the women's tournament on Saturday?
This is true.
It is a one-person event right now.
100% right there, Coach. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah. And listen, I was in the WNBA for 10 years. So I like women's basketball, but I'm just not enamored of it. So, I hope Caitlin Clark wins the whole ball of wax because I sure don't like South Carolina.
Well, by the way, it makes you wonder, if any calls are questionable, they're going to probably go in favor of
yeah.
Iowa. They're going to go in favor of
yeah.
Iowa. Yeah, and I'm kind of, we need to ask Drew what kind of, have him looking what kind of numbers that the casinos do on the women's tournament.
That is a good
growing
question.
thing? Anyway, I do want to get into okay. Since I brought up gambling, let's talk about this real quick. How about this guy? This is another Bisa special, by the way. Bisa is just crushing it. Our intern. She found us a story about a FanDuel user who he had a pretty good day. He had a pretty good day.
I like it, buddy.
Turned
Until it wasn't.
What?
Until it wasn't.
Until it wasn't. Yeah. He turned a $2 parlay into a $1,500 win.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's a
I've
good
hit
day,
some
right?
I've hit some pretty cool, some pretty improbable parlays. Never hit anything like that. That's crazy.
So he bet $200 and won
No,
$1,500.
$2.
$2.
$2.
Yeah.
$2 into $1,500?
$2 into $1,500. So I don't know what that has to be like a 10-team parlay or something.
Yeah. So either there's two possibilities. Either he bet all underdogs and they all won, or he bet. Yeah, it's about an 11-team parlay on that one because 11 teams gets you 1,200 to 1, or no, sorry, 10 teams. It would have been 10 teams at about 650 to 1 to win somewhere around $1,300.
So this happens, Coz, and then he ends up getting a notification that was not created, much to his dismay, by ChatGPT.
Huh.
And it said, from FanDuel Group, we are writing to inform you that there's been a notification from the Louisiana Department of Child and Family Services that your money has been withheld from your account pursuant to Louisiana. It's kind of cut off. But anyway, the bottom line is
Child support.
that they're taking his money because he hasn't paid his child support, which I
That
don't
is
feel bad
awesome.
for the guy at all.
No.
If you're
No.
a loser and you're a deadbeat dad and you're not paying your child support, I have no sympathy for you whatsoever.
No sympathy
you are
for the
an
devil.
absolute loser, and
Yeah.
and you deserve to be having your winnings garnished. But
Yep.
I think it's kind of interesting that he feels like he's been slighted apparently, and he put this out on social media.
He put it out on social media. Wow, I was going to say this is one of the rare instances where I wish the guy's name would be said, but he's the numbnuts that twice
You know
made
what?
a mistake. One, not paying, and two, putting it out there.
He tweeted it out and said, "Lord Jesus, they got me."
Or you know what, Dave? I'm making an executive decision as the producer of this show, and this is going to be a new staple. The new Jackass of the Week is this guy. So we're going to get a Jackass of the Week every week. The first one is
That's
this
of course.
How about the new?
I'd call him a
how about the
jackwagon.
MFer of the week?
guy. Yeah, we could do that too.
We can do that. Yeah, we haven't had a Get MF'd in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should do one today.
Let's do
I think he's kind of.
Especially considering we have no Tony today. Tony may not be doing a show today, by the way. It was iffy as of us going on the air, only because they're having
That's a travesty.
they're having some storms down there in South Florida.
No, Tony bet on Kentucky and he's depressed. He doesn't want to.
I like Matt's answer better.
Yeah, exactly. But if you want to reach the show, by the way, we're 42 minutes in, and I have not given out the number. 352-234-TONY, 352-234-8669. You can call, you can text, you can email us at lfgradioshow.com. You can also go to lfgradioshow.com to check out our show page and get the link to watch the live stream. So back to actual tournament stuff. And again, Tim Miles, the head coach at San Jose State, will join us coming up around 5 after the next hour. So in about 23
Look at us
minutes
getting
from now.
D1 coaches as guests on our show. Look
And
at
he's
us.
great. He's great. He was, he's done analyst work. He's a pleasure to talk to. So I'm sure he'll have some insight. I want to ask him about the replay system and college basketball because, Coz, what happened last night at the end of that Samford, Florida game was a travesty. Matt, really? That's the sound effect you're playing? I mean,
no, well, for that game for the Kansas, yes, that it was terrible. That was terrible.
yeah, it was bad because you've got all these triggers to try to replay things and go to review and get things right. And then you get a critical call. I'm sure most people saw it by now, but in the late stages of that game, I don't know if there was 20 seconds left. It was down to a 1-point game. Samford at one point had trailed by 21, and they come storming back. They get it to a 1-point deficit, and now Kansas has a chance to get a runaway layup in transition. And this kid, a la LeBron, back in the NBA Finals, running down the court,
Had to
coming up
bring
with a
that
big block from behind. The number 5 from Samford, I don't know his name, but he runs down the court, and he comes up with a tremendous block. And I will admit, a live looking at it at first blush, I thought it was a foul because the Kansas player goes down hard on the ground, and I wasn't even sure that he didn't make it. I thought it might have been an and one because it was so quick. But then on the replay, the Samford player doesn't even touch. I mean, no
All ball.
contact
All ball.
whatsoever. All ball on the hand. No part of the body touches the other player's body. the control that he had to make that block and get all ball and knock it free, it should have still been a 1-point game. It should have been Sanford's ball.
All right. I got to jump in because right now in the Northwestern Florida Atlantic game, we had the exact same type of circumstance. Guy shot a 3, and there was a big man who went out to contest it, and then the shot was missed, the whistle blown, they went over to the side, and now I'm not sure if they were checking on flagrancy of foul or foul, they had a chance to review that. Is that only the officials review, or does that come from some centralized location where they say, hey, we got to review this?
No, this is a good question for Tim, but as far as I know,
Okay.
Coase, all the replays, all the replay reviews in college basketball are triggered by the crew on the floor. They don't have a replay center like they have with all the major pro sports. The NHL obviously has one in Toronto. Baseball has one in New York. The NBA has one in Secaucus, New Jersey. And the NFL has one in New York. And so they've got it dialed in. In fact, I'm not really giving away any trade secrets by telling you that all these replay centers, they have every camera angle coming into the replay center being recorded simultaneously. So, the guy who's on the field with a handheld camera, his camera, even though you're not seeing it on TV, that's going into the replay center. So they can go look at it all. It would be impossible to do that on a regular season basis in college basketball for every game. It would just be flat out impossible because, first of all, the arenas need to be wired to be able to do it, and you need a destination for it to go to. I mean, do you build something in Indianapolis? I mean, would you even
What about every conference having a hub? What about every single individual conference having their own hub? Most of them have their own networks, but they all have their own home offices.
Yeah, but at the very least, though, they should have it set up for, why not? The NFL's not playing right now, right? The NFL's in their off season, so why not go to the NFL? And you couldn't do it with the NBA because they're playing. NHL is playing. Major League Baseball has spring training. But
No.
you could
That's
maybe
an air ball.
You could couldn't you go to the NFL and say we'd like to rent your replay center? And you have for the NCAA tournament, and you have all the reviews being done in a central location to speed things up.
That's interesting because if you'd go the whole season without using it, and then you'd use it for the tournament, that's an interesting way. I'd love to hear from the coach what he would feel about that, having that at his disposal. And is it a challenge system? Is it the referees only who can make the call?
Well, that's the bigger thing. Like if you're there's the replay system the way it is in college basketball, it's slower because the officials need to go over to the side. They need to talk to the producer in the truck. They need to say, can you show us this angle? Can you show us this angle? Whereas when you've got a centralized location, I've been to the NBA replay center. I've seen how it works. I mean, you've got crews of people that are watching every game. And when there's a replay, they'll call over the other people, and then they're all looking at it. So by the time the official on the floor comes over to put on the headset, the people in Secaucus are already like, yeah, that was a goaltender or whatever that they're questioning. They'll have the call already. So it's done very quickly. In college basketball, it takes so long because the officials need to talk to the producer in the truck and ask to see different angles. And so it takes forever. So to sit here and say, well, let's add another layer to replay review, most fans probably cringe at that because they don't want the game to take any longer. But if you could have a centralized system, you make those other replays faster, and then you add a coach's challenge. Give each coach one challenge. It's probably going to go unused because you're not going to want to waste it on a call, or maybe you even dictate you can have one coach's challenge in the final 2 minutes, and that's it.
If you're wrong, do you lose a timeout?
Yes, and if you don't have a timeout, you can't do it.
Huh, interesting. Well, we've got luckily we've got a head coach who could kind of muse about this.
Or maybe you need to have a game official who can, step in and say, no, this is going to be an official challenge. This is going to be an official review because we need to get it right. Whatever it is, there needs to be a trigger to at least have a chance to get that call right.
The only reason he called that foul was because the guy went down. That's the only reason they called that foul. I mean, I don't.
But when you watched it live, did you guys? Because I know you didn't see it live. You were
No, I did not see it
I
live.
watched it live, and I didn't think it was a foul. Now I had to see the replay, but my instinct was, I thought he got all ball. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And you know.
Well,
and so,
mine was the opposite. When I saw it live, I thought that it was oh wow, Coz. By the way, how about Bisa? Bisa's all over it. This guy who won the this guy who we were talking about.
I'm looking at it.
His parlay was it was hockey. It was
I know.
hockey parlay.
In Louisiana, the dude's parlay was hockey.
That's unbelievable.
Insane.
Wait a minute, hang on. This doesn't.
It was a five
no,
team parlay.
No, this doesn't make any sense.
This can't be all of them. No, this is it. This is it. A $2 wager to win $1,500.
No. It says 10 leg on the bottom. So we're
so that's not all of them. Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. This wouldn't that would not pay $1,500, especially with minus 385 in there and minus 215 and minus 192.
Right.
But 10 legs. Yeah.
Well, it says here though, $2 wager, 1,580 won on FanDuel. So if you go straight to the right.
I know, but there's more that you could that you should be able to scroll and see.
You know who's winning in that situation? That actually makes me very happy. That the person who's winning in that situation is the child. So good for the child.
Look at you.
I mean,
look at you.
You know, at the end of the day, he got his child support paid for from gambling. Inadvertently, he probably didn't want that.
Hey, we had the letter in the mailbag yesterday. F Duel, they chimed in and said about how good sports gambling is for society. Here's an example.
There you go.
They're helping
You
children.
should do a commercial with that guy. I was a down and out deadbeat dad, and then I started gambling on FanDuel.
And now my child can eat.
Yep, exactly.
Oh,
Play
my
FanDuel.
goodness.
Pay your child support. I'm telling you, that would be a sweet. You'd almost do it like a PSA. That would be a win for everyone.
You get the Sarah McLachlan, you know, the in the arms of an angel, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
You get the
little Lilith Fair breaking out for you.
you get the guy with the beard, you know. He says, well, you know, this is Timmy. Timmy doesn't have any food to eat, and if you go to FanDuel,
yep, exactly.
You can make sure that Timmy
for just
has
a
steak.
$2 bet, you can be sure Timmy will eat today. For a $2 bet on FanDuel. Hey, let's go back to the Samford play and the replay thing. Coz, would you be in favor of a coach's challenge for the tournament or an official challenge? Well, there being something to be able to get that right.
Oh man, there's a part of me that hates the technologizing of the games all the time. I don't like the non-umpire ball and strike calls. I don't like having so many coaches challenges in the National Football League where they're throwing out the red flag and all that business. But in order to get the call right, I mean, listen, first of all, we don't know if Samford would have won the game. The block was clean and Samford was going to collect the basketball. But we don't know if they'd have won, right? They
had all the momentum and they were only down one. They would have had the ball with the chance to take the lead.
Yeah, and maybe win at the buzzer.
And by the way, what if Kansas now goes on to win the tournament, right? I mean, think about how much that call could change the course of the entire thing.
True. Very true. I mean, if you wow, but do you take the human element out? Do you take the human element out? That's the toughest thing for me. I probably would get intimidated into you have to have the coach's challenge. That would honestly be my opinion on this one. And it would have to be monitored closely. You couldn't have too many challenges. So, and to clarify, if I had the challenge, I got it right, I'd keep my challenge.
No, I think you only get one. I think that's it. Because you can't give them, you know, and I don't.
That's unlimited?
Yeah, you can't give unlimited. I think you get one, and if you get it right, you get to keep your timeout. If you don't get it right, you lose your timeout. If you don't have a timeout, you can't challenge.
Because, I mean, the foul, here's what happens though. That foul was called. Now let's say Samford has the challenge, and it turns out where Samford is correct. Now what? You get the ball at midcourt. You get the ball at the end of the court where
I think you'd
the
get
foul
the ball
occurred?
out of bounds. I think you'd get the ball out of bounds under
at midcourt.
No, probably under the Kansas basket, because that's where the play came to an
Offensive
end.
end, the Kansas offensive end.
Yeah, the Kansas
Yeah.
offensive end.
Yeah, so now you got to go 94 feet with a defense set versus having to go 94 feet with one less defender.
I'd rather go 94 feet against a set defense down 1 than 94 feet against the set defense down 3 after the guy just made 2 free throws.
Yeah. I mean, that is the one. I will say this about the NBA. The one thing I always enjoyed was the, call the timeout after not advancing it, and then they give you the ball at midcourt on the inbound.
Yeah.
Late in the game.
By the way, another great question for Tim. I don't love the ability to be able to call a timeout in college basketball after you make a basket. And I was curious, did you
That's weird to me.
Did you watch the end of the Oakland game, Coz? I'm assuming you did, right? Oakland, Kentucky.
No, I did not.
You
I
did
did
not see
not.
the end of it. So,
No, I was watching the Predators, man. The Predators are beating the Panthers.
So Oakland hits a huge corner 3 by
Yes.
a guy other than Golke. And then
Mhm.
Oakland's coach, so they hit this 3 to get the lead back to 4. They've got all the momentum, and there's a timeout taken. And I assumed it was Kentucky that took the timeout, but it was actually Oakland that took the timeout. And I was like, I get it. They want to set their defense, but I don't love that. And anyway, it was, but you don't get to advance the basketball. We're up against it for a top of the hour break. So let's step aside, get our break. And when we come back, hour 2, Tim Miles will join us to break down day 1 of the NCAA tournament. And we also have Celebrity MMA coming up today. And it is a good one. It is going to be very NCAA related. And you're going to not want to miss that because it's going to get a little bit crazy. You're listening to LFG here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. I don't know why I chose this music to go to break, but this is what we got, guys.
Nice.
I've gotten about 6 spam calls since we've been on the air.
That's interesting. I've been getting a lot of spam calls too. Not one while we were on the air, but that's it.
I was gonna pot up Sarah McLaughlin there for in the arms of an angel.
Matt, if you want to handle the music going to the breaks, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean, I can do that.
Okay.
Nisi.
How long do we have? I need to go find what I can.
We have. We got a lot of time. We got.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
4 minutes.
I feel like I need a nap. UAB. Northwestern looks like they're going to survive in advance. But it's early. Not early.
Well,
They're up 9.
yeah, that went quick. Don't sleep on NC State. They could. I mean, I think it's the 41st year since the '83 team, and they could do it.
Yeah, if I fall asleep here, it's not because of content. I'm just tired. Just hit me. That's weird.
No, I understand that.
And I'm cold. And now the cat's on my lap, so I can't get up.
Yep, this is your life now.
I literally just got another spam call. Since we've been on the air, I have gotten. Let's see my call history. I have gotten 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spam calls since we've been on the air. Area code
That is weird.
608-786-551-516-949.
That's interesting. Your name clearly popped up on some list.
Yeah. And the other thing is, that's not like those area codes. Like they're not actually in those places. Those are just like they'll spoof whatever area code you're in to get you to pick up the phone. That's what they'll do sometimes.
What?
Yeah. So they'll.
I hope I'm not tired because I got hit in the head this morning.
Well, yeah, you might want to. I want to get that checked out.
Yeah.
Concussion.
Did
don't
Tim
think so. I
reply
mean,
to you, by the way? Do we know he's coming in studio, or is he going to be on the phone?
I sent him the link. He said 11 o'clock, right? I confirmed, so I'm assuming it's in the studio.
Ooh, Western Kentucky and Marquette getting ready to square off. The game I'm most looking forward to, Grand Canyon and St. Mary's.
Here's Tim.
There he is.
Hi, guys.
Great timing.
Hey, Coach.
Thanks, Tim. Tim, say hello to Jim Kozimor. He's at his house with
Hi,
his
Tim.
cat.
Yeah, I know, huh? How about that?
How are you?
Just watching some tourney. Thanks for coming on, Coach. I know you're probably watching all these games as well, and
I am.
probably scouting and figuring out transfer portals and everything else.
I'm in the portal. You can tell.
There you go.
I'm going to cut off those top lights.
Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
We should be back here. How long we got, Matt?
We got a minute, or we got 45 seconds, and then the top of the hour.
Okay. Tim, are you, aside from scouting transfer portal guys, are you like, do you root for your peers in the conference,
I
or
do.
you root for just coaches you're friends with?
Both. So I root for our league, and then like Greg Campy's a good friend of mine from Oakland. Right.
That's awesome.
So just cheering for Camp, all that stuff. 40 years at one job. It's great.
Yeah. Well, we're going
I'll tell you off the record. I don't know if I'm going to say it on the record, but so this summer he and I were golfing, and he goes, Timmy, my goal is to be the all-time losing.
Wow. Well, hey, that's a badge of honor because that means you got to coach that many games. Right?
15 seconds.
All right.
He's had some good runs though. Some good tournament
He's
runs.
always got guys. He's always got players.
The Detroit
All right,
area's
10
got
seconds.
players.
Yeah.
Ready. Live from the Tickscape Studios. Let's f***ing go.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back. Hour 2 of LFG here on the Tony Bruno Sports Network. Dave Benz, Jim Kozimor, Matt Fowler, Bisa the Fantastic Intern, and if you're watching on the live stream, you're getting a look at Tim Miles, the head men's basketball coach at San Jose State University. I had a chance to do a handful of their games this year. Tim, you guys were like 4-1 in the 5 games I did, so we need to get more games on NBC Sports next year.
We're going to talk that administration at San Jose State and get this thing organized, man.
It was fun calling your games, man. I know it was a rough year for you. You guys, you came off, what was it, 21 wins, 22 wins the year before, and you lost to a guy to the G League and another guy to the transfer portal, and we'll get into some of that. But in addition to your long head coaching career, and you've had a lot of stops. You were at Nebraska for a long time, but you've done some analyst work as well with Fox Sports, right?
I did TV work for Fox Sports 1 and the Big Ten Network for 2 years, and it was during COVID. In fact, I was live on the air when everybody canceled their seasons.
Oh, wow.
And, that was an amazing time to listen to the guys go, well, Coach, what do you do during a pandemic? And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, try and say what you're trying to, the health and welfare of everybody. But what a day. That was a great time. But it was just so easy, Dave, that I had to get back into coaching.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You needed things to be a little bit harder. This TV work's not cutting it.
Actually, Coach, Dave and I have a bigger question, being that you worked for Fox Sports and the Big Ten Network. Who's your agent? We'd both love to work for Fox Sports and the Big Ten Network. You figured out the the code to get in there.
Do you know who helped me? Was Bill Rafferty.
Wow, Raph.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just he and I knew each other a little bit, and I, he just says, Timmy, I think you'd be great at this, blah blah blah, and so Raph was great, and I think I was with CAA back then. I think I was with CAA. Now I'm with somebody else, but it never ends.
Yeah.
The agent business.
Raph is the best, man. I ran into Raph one year at the Masters in a bar in Augusta, and he was great. Called my friend, left a voicemail for him talking about DePaul basketball. It was my buddy still has the voicemail. It's iconic.
Yeah, those are ones you keep.
Yeah. So Tim, overall impressions of day one in the tournament so far?
Well, I got 9 of 16 picks. So, and I always say to my kids, because my kids always will ask me for advice. I have children. My son's a freshman in college. My daughter just graduated college. And every time I pick it, I pick wrong. I said, well, I pick as if I was coaching that team. We would have won that game if I had coached that team. That was my excuse. But what a great day. I think if we just kind of look at maybe the biggest upset, which is Oakland over Kentucky, is why we all hope that college sports doesn't fracture off into this, crazy business where the top 100 schools or 80 schools just become their own entity, and let them do that in football. But college basketball is a remarkable entity in itself. It's a remarkable entertainment tool, and what a great experience for these young kids to go through. And everybody in how many gyms were pulling for Oakland to beat Kentucky, last night, and watching the misery of the Kentucky fans, and to see them wearing that emotion, it's just such a cool time, and not very fun for Kentucky. I get that, but at the same time, or John Calipari or those kids, but what a remarkable thing, and great event, just a lot of fun. See a team like Oregon on the West here who's just surging like crazy late. There's just so many cool stories to what we're watching.
There's nobody.
Coach, you're absolutely.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, you're right about that Oakland win. I don't know if anybody outside of someone who graduated from Kentucky that was rooting against that Oakland team. And the best part is everyone sees Oakland and they immediately think that team must be based in California, but it's a suburb of Detroit. They've been to the tournament other times. They've won their conference a number of times. They've pulled upsets off. It seems every couple of years you hear about the Oakland, what are they, the Grizzlies or the Golden Grizzlies, whatever they are. People don't realize how good the talent is in different parts of the country. The Detroit area has some really great talent over there. And then you see some of those guys matriculate off to Oakland University, and the next thing you know, you got a competitive team out there. That's part of the beauty of this thing. And maybe for you, because the Bay Area has so much talent, is that the type of program you look at and say, hey, San Jose State, we can be Oakland University. We can compete because we got a lot of talent where we are.
Well, what's interesting about what you say is that the car industry and the decline of that really hurt that area.
Mm-hmm.
That whole Detroit area was better. It was better years ago when you had the Fab Five, 20 years ago or so. And then the decline and everything that changed really hurt that. So they've still found a way to be ultra successful. Greg Campy's been the head coach there 40 years, 40 seasons, which is remarkable in itself. There's no doubt you always look at those mid-major teams, especially in a heavily populated area that's got lots of competition. Very similar, all the pro franchises in the Detroit area, same thing out here in the West. How do you compete with that? How do you get fans' attention? And really, it's by building a winner. Like last year, we won 21 games. The last time San Jose State won 21 games, I was in junior high, and I'm old. And so, when you look at that,
was Stan Morrison the guy then? No, Stan never got him 21, did he?
It was before. Stan got 18 or 19, but
yeah,
it was Bill Barry. And so,
wow, the great Bill Barry, former NBA assistant, great coach. Horrible tragedy in his family, but I'll tell you something, he was a heck of a coach.
No doubt. But when you look at building a winner, there's no doubt you can do it in Northern California. And by the way, who from Detroit doesn't want to come to California and hang out in this?
True that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
America.
You spend any time at St. Ceciliaville, St. Cecilia's, recruiting over there in the Detroit area? I played at that gym at one point.
So
that's back when Dick Vitale was at U of D. Remember, that's going back a ways.
Did they jump it up after every basket?
Hilarious. They took it out of the peach basket.
Yeah, there you go. It happened.
Tim Miles is our guest, head coach at San Jose State University. Tim, you mentioned your relationship with Greg Campy. He obviously also has a relationship with Calipari. How much do you think that helped him? The fact that he knows John and he knew his style, and going into this, felt like, and he said it publicly, he felt like Kentucky was the best matchup they could have gotten.
Yeah, I think that when you get to that point, and when we've been in the tournament, when I was at CSU in Nebraska, like so many times you see the teams on TV just casually so much that you feel like you know exactly what their style is. Like, who doesn't like when Kentucky's on? You watch them. Like, you watch them. You always watch them. There's just a few brands out there that travels with, and so I think that familiarity certainly helped. He's got a really good team, and he's got them playing great, and that's what's really dangerous is good teams playing great. Sometimes you have great collection of talent, but not everybody's clicking. And when you get these good teams playing great, boy, that's what makes the tournament so fun. That's the one and done nature of it. It's not a series. It's just you play bad for 8 minutes in the game, that could cost you. And so I think that's really cool. I think it was a good matchup. I certainly, like we talked about on air, who do you cheer for your friends? A lot of the coaches, it's a smaller fraternity. There's only 300 and whatever jobs in the country that way, and not many vocations like that. But it's fun to watch those guys. Mountain West record 6 teams in the NCAA tournament too. Really cool to watch. Somehow.
Dang state colleges.
He's back.
No
He's
Wi-Fi.
back. We lost you
There
for
he
a
is.
second, Tim.
Sorry. I got a call, so I don't know. I don't know how. And it's
You're a
about
popular
recruit,
guy,
so
Coach. You're a popular
I
guy.
grudgingly clicked it off.
Yeah, people are seeing you on the live stream. Like, we need to call Tim right now.
Was it a new recruit, Coach?
Yeah,
Was it a
it's
new
a
recruit saying I'm
And
ready
he's
to
from
go?
The Midwest. He's
Yeah.
from the Midwest.
See?
Hey, Tim, I'm wondering, is the model that Calipari used to have such success for so long?
Yeah, it's
Is
dead.
that
You're
kind
right.
of broken now? You
dead.
can't have the great freshmen. You got to have the veterans to succeed in this tournament.
So Mike Bray said it when he was the coach at Notre Dame a long time ago, is get old and stay old. And I remember him saying that. And you usually do that, and kids would sit out and transfer. Well, a federal judge in D.C. or Maryland decided that the NCAA can't enforce any rules on transfers. There's nobody more litigated than the NCAA. Like, I don't care what industry you're looking at. It's a cottage industry to sue the NCAA. So now kids can transfer multiple times. Certainly they need progress toward a degree academically, but any creative institution can figure that out. And when you look at it, the let's get talent that's young. And I think COVID hurt some of these young kids too. Just the way they had to sit out, the way they were isolated, they're just not the same coming in. But also, you need to get old and stay old. And remember, we still have this season and next season left of kids that could play 5 years of college basketball, which is unprecedented because the one COVID year they kind of took off the books and said, never mind, you still got, an extra year, everybody that played. And so we still got 2 more. So we're even older than we would be ordinarily. Now the rules have changed with multi-transfers, can be eligible immediately. Teams are able to get older more quickly. And it's just, I don't know. I think that whole idea is, I think the guy I heard talk about it 2 years ago, which made the most sense to me, was Eric Musselman. Eric Musselman grew up doing CBA basketball, which was before the G League. And what happens to G League basketball and that minor league basketball, you assemble as much talent as you can, and pro teams come and pick off your best players. You're constantly reassembling talent. That is exactly what colleges are going through right now with the transfer portal, with immediate eligibility, with NIL money. For me, I lost my starting center. He got paid 6 figures somewhere else. My guard wanted to go pro, even though he could have come back. I understand that. I respect that. And you're going to lose guys unless you get in that game, in that space. And it's just more different than ever. But really, that CBA, G League mentality of assembling as much talent as quickly as you can, understanding you might lose it and you got to reconfigure, is probably what's going to happen in college basketball, probably the direction it's going. If you like it or not, doesn't matter. It's still an exciting time to watch young people excel at a great sport.
Well, I'll tell you, the NIL and transfer portal and all that business has had to have changed your job over the years you've been in it. There are times when I don't understand how you guys can even do your job efficiently because the changes come so quickly. And quite frankly, I know there was a judge who made a judgment, but I don't know if that benefits the kids at all.
So when I was at Nebraska, I redshirted, I think 4 straight guys. I think all 4 were all Big Ten players because they sat out for a year, acclimated, and improved their game. and that's just the way it goes. And so when you look at those things, I'm not sure either. Matt Painter, if you can find it online on the social media, talks about how he needed his parents in his life when he was 20 and 21 years old. And if they hadn't been so difficult on him and so demanding, he'd probably be in the bowling league in Muncie, Indiana on Tuesday nights, rolling out a 180. Because if he would have done what he wanted to do, he wouldn't have made it through college. He wouldn't have stuck with it. He certainly wouldn't be the head basketball coach at Purdue. And so that kind of someone in your life demanding something of you that you don't necessarily want to do very bad, you still need. And you're not that same person at 24 and 25, but who you are at 18, 19, 20. Like sometimes you need a little guidance, let's face it, that you don't want to do. Like you need a little rule in your life. And I hope we don't lose that.
Yeah. Tim, I want to get into real quick the replay situation. I'm assuming you saw the end of the Samford Kansas game last night, and that
you mean the awful call?
The awful call. That kid. And the worst
You're gonna get
part
fined, Coach. You better watch it. You're gonna get fined.
He missed that play.
He did miss that play, and I'm sure that, listen, knowing a lot of officials from my time in the NBA, I'm sure they went back in their locker room after the game, and they were like, oh, man, we messed that up.
Yeah, not advancing.
How do you should there be a coach's challenge and maybe only have it for the NCAA tournament or for postseason tournaments? And I don't know what the criteria would be. Maybe it's the final 2 minutes. Maybe you need to have a timeout left. But should there be because in the NBA, that could have been corrected with a coach's challenge.
Yeah, I like that idea. And I like all of the things you kind of presented there, which is you got to have a timeout. It's got to be the last 2 minutes of a game. I would like to do it all season. They're at the monitor on those plays all the time anyway. I don't think we're adding much. I know this much. I did learn in the Big Ten from Jim Delaney. The human condition will only allow a college basketball game to be played in 2 hours. So anything that lengthens that is usually hard to get through. Just the attention span of like the way refs call fouls from 1950 to now hasn't changed, but by about a foul or so. We can talk about freedom of movement, everything. If you look at the amount of calls in the old days and the amount of foul called now, it's almost identical of the last 70 years. And it all goes back to that same thing. The human condition is only going to allow a college basketball game to last just under 2 hours. And that's never going to change. So when you add a challenge or that situation, it's hard to get through, even though I'd like to see us do it.
All right, Coach, so here's the difficult part. Not every conference is going to be able to have the infrastructure technologically to have every game televised and have there be a home hub where they can check out every call. So let's say in the regular season you were playing under one set of rules. Officials' eyes make the call. But you got to the tournament, and there's this VAR system. I don't know if you're a soccer fan, but you have an opportunity to have another set of eyes looking at it from thousands of miles away to make the call, and you get that opportunity for a coach's challenge. How difficult or much more different would it be to play under one set of circumstances for a full regular season, a different set of circumstances once you get to what we'll call them the playoffs?
That's why you hire a good ops guy who can be in your ear to remind you of all that.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's just a matter of conditioning like anything else and being on top of it.
Could they ever have a replay center? I mean, I think that's kind of the NCAA should have that, because if you have a replay center, when they go to the monitor in the NBA, it takes 2 seconds on most of the calls, because by the time they put on the headset, Secaucus has already given them the answer. Whereas now with college, they're going and the officials are actually asking to see the replays. That's why it takes so long. So maybe you can add in the coach's challenge if you can make everything else shorter.
Only in the NCAA tournament, because you're not going to have the technology yet. Remember, the NBA is only 30 franchises, and we have 375 college basketball teams of variety of budgets. And like you guys alluded to earlier, technology, assets, and stuff like that. It would have to be an NCAA tournament thing only, I think.
All right.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Well, you go to coaches meetings for your conference. You go to coaches meetings for every coach.
So boring.
And they are. What are the topics that are most discussed? What are the things that are the hot button items for coaches, whether it's in your conference or when you go to the bigger grand meeting and a larger crew of coaches are together in an official meeting, not BSing at the bar, but I mean, when you're in the meeting and you're looking to either solidify things, change things, improve things, what are the hot topics?
So if you're a high major coach, it's usually more cutting edge, like what's next in our industry, right? So when you're in the Big Ten, you're kind of always forward looking. At a mid-major place like the Mountain West, which I've been at 2 different schools, Colorado State and here, it's usually scheduling, really. How each team in the conference is scheduling so that you can get as many bids, at-large bids as possible, which, like I just say, we've done that well in the Mountain West. What our reinvestment is from our shares, which are growing and getting better, are we reinvesting that money back into men's basketball, or is that just going to everybody? We have 22 sports at San Jose State. So where's that money go? And it really comes down to scheduling and how to, to try and make the conference as strong as possible to have as many at-large bids as possible. And that's really the ones that get, I'd say, the most attention of anything, and it just comes down to everything you do with your schedule.
Tim Miles, the head coach at San Jose State University. Tim, I don't know if there's any team hotter right now in the tournament than NC State and DJ Burns, and they run off. First of all, I was, at this time last week on our show, I was saying there will never be a team that's going to run off 5 wins in 5 days to win a major tournament and get to the NCAA tournament. And then I was proven wrong by NC State. I'm still wrapping my head around the fact that they did that. And then they win again yesterday. How much of a matchup nightmare is a guy like DJ Burns? And can they actually make a deep run?
Well, so it reminds me too of, I think UConn did it in the Big East tournament, 5 in 5 days, and won all the way to the national tournament. I think they won all 11 in a row to end the season under Kevin Ollie. I think was the last one I can remember like that. But you get those teams on a heater, good teams playing great. If you haven't seen Burns, folks, I mean, he's a physical, just what do we call that?
Anomaly. He's an anomaly.
Like, he's amazing. Great touch, great hands, great skill. Big, strong kid, heavy kid. You got to watch him. Great personality, big personality too. Looks plumb tuckered out sometimes, and of course he would, going up and down a basketball floor for a big guy where you're going baseline to baseline. The guards get to go top of the key. They got it easy, but you look at those guys, he's an amazing thing. That's going to be what a game, Oakland and NC State. The big upset against the team that might be the hottest team in the country. That's going to be much watched TV. And nobody, if you played that game in the regular season, you wouldn't have 200,000 people watch the game, but you're going to have how many million watch tomorrow?
I don't know if you'd have had 2,000 people watching the game.
Yeah.
Tim, I have a question that's kind of piggybacking off of that. So, okay, you look at NC State. They did this miracle thing where they won 5 games to win the conference tournament. But how do they do that? They did it because the team they were playing against didn't foul when they were up by 3. And, it's for me, I mean, and I know it makes coaches' hairs turn gray. For me, it's simple math. You're up by 3. You foul them. You give them 2 free throws. I don't understand why every coach doesn't just do that. Can you explain?
Yeah, I can tell you this, that the analytics, right, the math of the studies over fouling and not fouling are literally 50-50. It almost goes either way. And the reason for that is the one thing about fouling, right, is you lengthen the game when you have the lead. So the first thing is you're lengthening a game where you have the lead. So now you're giving more opportunity to the team behind, right? Second of all, you better be a good rebounding team because they're going to have to miss one of those eventually on purpose. Like they make one and miss one. You better be a better rebounding team than the other team to be able to foul so you can secure that rebound. And the last thing I'll tell you, Matt, is as a coach, you've now brought in the only scenario where you can technically lose the game because of a decision you made. You foul, they make 1, you're up now 2, they miss on purpose, they tip it out, bang a 3 as the clock goes to 0, you just lost. And You just brought that only opportunity for the other team to actually win the game in. And I've had that happen on a 5-point play where we fouled by accident on a layup at North Dakota State, right? And so the lead went from 5 to 3. They missed the foul shot on purpose. It goes out of bounds off of us. We can't foul. They should make a 30-footer at the buzzer and score 5 points in 3 seconds. And then we beat them 14-0 in overtime, because I think they were so You know, they were so
Yes.
crazy about that kind of comeback. But it happens. It happens more than you think. And it's interesting. So the reason a coach doesn't is why I just, and you want to make sure that a crafty guard like Jared Lucas from Nevada, who draws more fouls than anybody known to mankind, if he's dribbling up and you try and foul him and all of a sudden he's into a shot, now they give him the act of shooting.
Yeah.
So those are the reasons why a coach might be jumpy about it. You're not wrong. Craig Smith, who's the head coach at Utah, was my assistant for 11 years. He said it best to me, Coach, if you're coaching and you're what would you rather have happen to you? And I always say the same thing. I'd rather get the shot. I don't like it when they foul. Because now, so why wouldn't we foul, Coach? You know, so I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit.
Right, sure.
But I'm telling you that's why a coach wouldn't foul.
Well, Tim, I think you and I talked about this when I did my first game, because I asked you when I was working in the NBA, I actually asked every head coach in the league, and I recorded it. I have a file with all the recordings still on my laptop, because I wanted to know when we got into an end-of-game situation what they think. Nate McMillan was the only coach. He said what you said. He goes, I will not do it. He said Coach K was kind of against it, but he said that it's the only way you can lose the game on that last play. Worst case scenario, you're going to overtime. But probably the most insightful answer was Quinn Snyder. Quinn Snyder told me, he said, listen, what is the situation? Who do I have fouled out? Are they on a hot run? All those things, come into play on that situation. I do want to ask you though about overall, and we're running heavy, so we'll let you go here in a minute. But college football.
We got a game. By the way, we got a game going on right now. Northwestern, Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic. 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
And Northwestern just pushed it to a 4-point lead. And
No. They just scored to tie it.
They scored to tie it. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
They had a big lead late. They went over almost 4 minutes without scoring.
And now we're going to overtime.
Florida Atlantic comes back. Then there were some janky calls down the stretch that they had to have reviewed, and Northwestern gets a bucket to send it to the overtime.
So, Coach, speaking of close games, do you see college football they're making moves to kind of emulate the NFL a little bit more? They're going to add a 2-minute warning coming up next season. Do you see college basketball ever being able to advance the ball after a timeout? Would you be in favor of that?
I really do. I do like the essence of two halves. I like the idea that we can advance the ball. I think the one night Jared Lucas hit just over half-court shot to beat Colorado State. The same night, Max, what's his name?
Max
Strus made the longest shot in NBA history, which was about 5 feet deeper than Lucas's shot. And it's the longest shot. And I just think that there's an element to that that's kind of special, kind of cool. The problem is we all know when there's 2.7 seconds left, you really only have one play. Like there's not like you don't have a variety like NBA side out. You can have 10 different things that could happen. You just have to throw that thing long and somebody really athletic catch it and then hopefully find an open person, which almost never happens. But it did happen at Ball State this year, where the most amazing, the Western Michigan team threw it just in the middle of a pile. Nobody touches it and it bounces up there and they lay it in with 0.7 left. Amazing deal. So it makes for some amazing moments, and that's I love that. And so I hope we don't mess with it. If they do, I understand and I'll adjust like we adapt and adjust or adapt and die. You got options, man. So I hope they don't do it.
Well, Tim, we kept you a little longer than I anticipated, but it's great stuff, man.
Game, man. You got to let me get back to the game.
Yeah. We'll let you get back to the games. We need to take a time out anyway. It's Celebrity MMA is coming up today, so we'll have that next segment.
Dave, I'm not in it this time.
You're not in Celebrity. Wait, maybe we'll put you in before the. We've got Blaze the Dragon against handsome Dan from Yale in Celebrity MMA today.
Smart guy too.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Tim, appreciate it, man. Always good talking to you, and good luck with the transfer portal. Enjoy the rest of the games.
Thanks.
And we will.
Good talking to you, Coach.
Yeah.
See you guys.
All right,
Thanks,
we're
Tim.
taking a timeout. LFG continues on
What a
TBSN
good guy.
after this. Coach, that was awesome, man. Thanks so much.
That was awesome.
I think he already dropped off. That was great. He was good.
Makes me want to root. Makes me want to root for San Jose State.
He was really good.
Dozens reportedly killed in a terror attack near Moscow.
Oh no.
Good Lord. Okay, we got 2 minutes. I'm going to turn on the TV for this freaking overtime game.
You don't have a TV on?
No, well, I'm fixing that right now.
No, that's okay. You're more dedicated than me, not me. There's not been a day when I don't have a TV on.
This is true.
I think I was walking around a mall parking lot trying to watch a TV at one point. Northwestern takes a 2-point lead in the overtime. We've got a terrorist attack going on in Moscow.
Is there any is there any Polish jetpack racing going on?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Oh, Northwestern, they continue to push it. And then Marquette in a good one with Western Kentucky.
Hey, by the way, he said he went 9-7 in his bracket yesterday. I'm feeling good about our 11-5.
You know what's funny? I'm looking at the bracket that I'm in. The leader in our bracket has 12 wins. I've got 11 wins according to our bracket. I don't know how I got 11 wins.
Well, that's good news.
I must have clicked the wrong button.
All right, so we'll have Celebrity MMA and then get MF'd.
Dude, this Northwestern team looks like they are a group of intramural guys.
I didn't realize Oakland was playing an NC State next. That is an interesting matchup.
That's a great game. I hope that 34-year-old accountant is able to drop his daughter off at preschool so he can make it to the game.
So he can take on DJ Burns, who was delivering the donuts prior to the game.
Hilarious.
All right, FAU back within 3. How much time is
Matt,
left
are
on
you
your
shaved?
feed? How much is left on your feed?
I got 3:30 left in my feed.
Okay.
Hang on. Okay, hang on, guys. We got 30 seconds, 45 seconds.
Oh, a huge make. A huge, huge game here. I'm not going to say who made it, but it's a huge game.
I've got it on.
Yeah, I don't know how far ahead or behind I
think
am,
we're
though.
pretty much on. I got 305, 304, 303.
Yeah, we're a few seconds off.
I'm ahead of you guys. I'm way ahead of you guys.
Don't say anything.
Not saying
Keep it quiet. Wow, I'm intrigued by this Russian terrorist attack.
All right, we got rejoining coming up.
That's how Wikipedia describes it. Okay, so Russian online news outlet Radovka says this, and let me show you this.
It's the bottom of the hour, or close enough. Time for your Tickscape Studios Sports Update with Matt Fowler.
Northwestern and FAU going down to the wire in overtime. Northwestern leading by 8. I'm trying to not spoil it. Everybody's watching it. But
No, that's okay. Give the score.
And Baylor is up big on Colgate, 86-64, and then UAB is trailing by 7 to San Diego State late in the first half, 33-26. For all of your scores, updates, and hot takes, tune into the Tony Bruno Sports Network on the TBSN app. Now back to Dave Benz and Jim Kozamore. This is LFG, guys. We're just junkies for basketball today. We're just junkies for basketball.
Yeah. By the way, did you mention UAB?
I did.
That's
UAB.
That's really good. That's good. That's good synchronicity right there, Matt Fowler, because UAB, Blaze the Dragon, and Handsome Dan from Yale are going to battle in the celebrity MMA coming up in mere moments. But before we get into that, first of all, that was a great interview with Tim Miles. I knew he was going to be really good. And there's a reason why Bill Raftery backed him to be an analyst for the Big Ten Network and Fox Sports. Really well-spoken, really good coach. Felt bad for him with his team this year because they did get decimated by the transfer portal and by a guy leaving for the NBA. And I do feel like, Coach, that's going to be the problem. We talked about this before with mid-majors. When you do have a good team, you're going to likely get rated by teams via the NIL and the transfer portal.
Well, that's what I think. It's to me, that's why the NCAA is a joke. Not because people allegedly, the NCAA makes money off the backs of these kids. That's a trash argument for dumb people. All right, it is not helping these kids. Big deal. They make a couple of $1,000s over these 4 years, and then guess what? They don't have a degree. They have nowhere to go, and they probably spent that money. I'm telling you, it's not helping these kids. The transfer portal. I think that there's room to have a discussion. If Tim Miles recruits a kid and says, I'm going to be here for 4 years, and after the kid's second year, Tim Miles gets a job with, pick your bigger school, New Mexico, Texas, it doesn't matter, then I think that kid gets the right to transfer and play immediately. But if Tim Miles is there, you don't leave. You agreed to be there for 4 years. You're there for 4 years.
Or maybe a happy medium, Coach. Maybe you get to use the transfer portal one time, but you got kids that are using it 2 and 3 times.
No, that's silly. That's silly. If you want to leave, you can leave. You have to miss a year. You can get the year back on a 5th year, but you have to miss a year. If the coach is there, you're there. If the coach, now I get it. Coach is sour on guys, so you want to leave. I totally get it. I'm willing to talk to you about your proposal of use it one time. But the multiple times is an embarrassment. We're starting to get to the point now where we can't talk about COVID anymore. Let's stop it with the COVID year.
Right.
Let's stop it. We're about there.
Thank God next year's the last year of that. Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, real quick, before we get to celebrity MMA, I did want to bring up one other thing that I noticed yesterday, and you don't seem to mind this as much as I do. For years and years and years and years, well, until it's going back to when it became a thing, the NCAA March Madness app has been free. They've let you watch every game on the app and online for free. Now, granted, they would make you watch extra commercials or whatever, which I'm fine with, but it's been free. Now, for the first time ever, I had it on yesterday. You get 10 minutes free, and then you have to log into your Max account. Otherwise, it's no longer free. And they're trying to push, much like Peacock did with the NFL, they're trying to push you into paying for it, which I'm fine. I've got other ways to be able to watch it. But I was just like, I loved that it was free. And I thought, hey, they're making plenty of money off the ads, but now
what's plenty of money, Dave? What's plenty of money? You're making plenty of money. Why do you want to make more?
Well,
because you can.
So you're okay with it? You have no problem with it?
I have no problem at all with it. Would I like it to be free? Yeah, I used to use it all the time. Now, oh well, that's just the way the game changes. There was a time when they played baseball games, and the only way you found out about it was you went to the game, or the next morning you read about it in the paper. And then this magical thing called radio happened. And people started to be able to not be at the game and not have to wait till tomorrow to listen to the game. And people were upset at that. And then there was this more magical thing. And by the way, they didn't want home games to be on the radio because they thought it would bother home attendance.
Yeah.
Then this even more magical thing called TV came about. And they didn't want that to be televised at home because that was going to screw up things. And that was going to hurt the radio. And that was going to hurt the attendance. You know what? Life changes. And it's just the way it is. And they are a business. They are there to make money. You have a lot of options for entertainment. This one, you have to pay to go to a movie, right? Unless you want to wait and get it on a legal streaming service for free. I have no problem with these places making money. I want to make more money.
Well,
but
I guess I'm get off my lawn guy. But
yep.
I want it back the way it was. Anyway, let's move on because we don't have a ton of time left in the show today. It is Friday, which used to be my favorite day.
Friday.
I kind of like
get
mailbag.
Down on Friday.
But Celebrity MMA is a staple, and it's the first time I don't think we've had a fresh Celebrity MMA this is the first time in 3 weeks, right? Because we had best of the last 2 Fridays.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So we've got a fresh Celebrity MMA, and it is NCAA related, and it is 2 teams that are playing today. I actually, believe it or not, so Celebrity MMA, ChatGPT writes the script, and I kind of tweak it. I actually asked ChatGPT to pick the participants this week. I didn't even come up with the participants. I said I entered in all the participants for all the 64 teams, and I said, give me the most ridiculous matchup possible. And ChatGPT thought it would be Blaze the Dragon from UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham, against Handsome Dan, the Bulldog from Yale. So that is this week's Celebrity MMA. Enjoy, everybody. Matt Fowler, do the honors. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, fight fans around the world, you can hear the excitement. Welcome to Tickscape Arena for another absolutely outrageous showdown. This time, two of the most unlikely mascots from this year's NCAA tournament are involved. Jim Cosmore, we've got Matt Fowler along with us. This should be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's right, Dave. Tonight we have a spectacle like no other as Blaze, the Dragon from the University of Alabama at Birmingham, takes on Handsome Dan, the Bulldog from Yale University.
Handsome Dan. It is a matchup of epic proportions, but before we dive into the action, let's address the sheer ludicrousness, I can't even say it, Coz, I'm so excited, of this showdown. Blaze the Dragon against Handsome Dan, the Bulldog? It's straight out of a fantasy novel.
Indeed, Dave. The trash talk leading up to this bout has been nothing short of absurd, with Blaze boasting about his fiery breath and Handsome Dan growling about his superior bite.
But now they're in the octagon ready to settle the score once and for all, and here they come, making their entrances into the arena. Blaze the Dragon, his scales shimmering in the arena lights, and his wings spread wide. He flies into the octagon with all the majesty of a mythical creature.
And Handsome Dan the Bulldog, with his wrinkled face and muscular physique, struts into the arena with the confidence of a true champion.
And Jim, look at all the celebrity mascots in attendance here tonight. Buster Bronco from Boise State is flanked by Big Blue from Utah State and Jonathan the Husky from UConn.
Wow, that is special to see, especially since UConn is a favorite in the NCAA tournament. On the other side of the arena, we have Ramses the Ram from North Carolina, Butch T. Cougar from Washington State, a very chic pick, by the way, and Reveille from Texas A&M.
And Jim, even some pro mascots are here. There's the San Diego Chicken, the Phoenix Suns Gorillas over there. And Jim, is it really him?
It is, Dave. It truly is the King, Burger King himself.
No Ronald McDonald, surprisingly, but Jim, the tension is palpable here. The two mascots now are in the center of the ring, and here's the pre-fight stare down. Look at Blaze the Dragon breathing fire, sending sparks in all directions, while Handsome Dan, he just growls menacingly, showing off those sharp teeth.
It's a sight to behold, folks. Let's get it on.
And we are underway. Both mascots come out with fire in their eyes, quite literally in Blaze's case.
Blaze launches a stream of fireballs, and I'd like to be drinking those fireballs, but he's looking right at Handsome Dan, who dodges and weaves with surprising agility for a bulldog.
But hold on, Jim. Look at Blaze go. He's not just breathing fire, he is taking to the sky.
Incredible, Dave. Blaze is soaring above the arena, unleashing fireballs for everyone above.
But Handsome Dan isn't backing down. He charges forward, attempting to tackle Blaze out of the sky. What a leap!
And wait, Handsome Dan attempts to counter Blaze's aerial assault by, oh my goodness, he's trying to urinate on Blaze to extinguish his fire breath.
Well, that is one way to put out the flame, Jim. It's a bizarre tactic, but it seems to be working as Blaze is forced to dodge and weave to avoid Handsome Dan's stream.
Just marking his territory. The crowd also dodging and weaving. Ew, disgusting.
But now just a few seconds left in this round. Blaze seems to be gaining the upper hand with some aerial attacks.
But wait, Handsome Dan manages to catch Blaze's tail in his jaws. He's pulling Blaze down to the ground.
Blaze is struggling, but does break free. But wait, Handsome Dan, that grip is relentless. He's not letting go.
With only seconds remaining in the round, Blaze summons all his strength and unleashes a final burst of fire.
And that's the end of round one, folks. What a wild and comical spectacle. Matt Fowler, how's it look ringside?
Oh, guys, can somebody give me a towel? Handsome Dan's being a dick.
Oh, that is gross. Matt is soaked. Jim Kozumor, disgusting.
Oh, round 2 begins, and none too soon. Both mascots come out with renewed determination. And look at Blaze, again, launch into the air.
Blaze now swooping down from the sky, aiming to catch Handsome Dan off guard with that fiery breath.
But Handsome Dan is ready this time. He charges forward, dodging Blaze's flames and sinking his teeth into Blaze's wing.
Oh, Blaze is roaring in pain. Handsome Dan refuses to let go, shaking his head from side to side like a true bulldog.
Blaze desperately tries to break free, but Handsome Dan's grip is like a vice.
Blaze is grounded without being able to flap both wings, Jim. But wait, he's unleashing one final burst of fire, and he nails Handsome Dan. He's engulfed in flames.
Oh my goodness, the humanity. Handsome Dan yelping in obvious pain, and that's it. He's out cold. Blaze emerges victorious.
What a fight, folks. Blaze the Dragon. Man, an absolutely wild finish. Let's check in one last time with Matt Fowler ringside.
I'm so glad Handsome Dan got fired, but you know what? You guys aren't paying me enough for this job. Screw this.
Great report as always, Matt.
Indeed. Sounds like Matt's job might be open next week. In any case, thanks for joining us for this unforgettable urination sensation night of celebrity MMA.
And there it is. Another fantastic celebrity MMA put together by Matt Fowler. Matt, good job on the editing, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
I don't know why you felt so bad about Handsome Dan getting you, though. I mean, that's a badge of honor you were wearing right there.
I don't
Squirt.
want to get pissed on, dude.
Yeah.
Got to mark your territory, baby.
I suppose that's not ideal. By the way, while we were in that, I got not one but 2 more spam calls. Since we've been on the air, I think I'm up to 8 spam calls.
What's going on, man? What
the
list did you get on?
I don't know, but
Did you once answer a spam call? Because maybe that alerted the spam network of callers to say, "Hey, this guy, this nuts answers."
Yeah, I'm sure at some point I answered a spam call, but yeah, this is an unusually high number of spam calls.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, it is Friday. We have 2 orders of business to get to before we get off the air here. The first one is Matt Fowler. We love doing a Being Matt's Bookie. Do you have a Being Matt's Bookie ready today?
I do.
Okay, so let's hit I got the intro. Here we go.
What's a weekend of sports without a little action? And no one craves the action more than gambling degenerate aficionado Matt Fowler.
How
All
many
right.
sandwiches will he lose this week?
It's time for another edition of Being
That's damn
Matt's
good work.
Bookie.
It really is. All right, Matt, so the sandwich scoreboard update, I'm not going to hit the sounder. I now owe you 2.5 sandwiches, and I owe Coase 2.5 sandwiches. You guys really got me on that one. I gave you a generous count. I didn't think you were going to get it. But anyway, I'm a man of my word. I owe you each 2.5 sandwiches. Matt, you owe me 6 sandwiches. You owe Coase 4 sandwiches. That is the sandwich scoreboard update. So, Matt, what are you looking at for your action this week?
Well, I am looking at, let's see.
While you think about it, let me just say this.
No.
Western Kentucky, a 15 seed, with a lead over number 2 Marquette, 32-31 with 4 minutes to play in the first.
That's not going to last.
Come on, Hilltoppers. They've got a starting guard, I swear to you. It looks like he just left chemistry class and was going to open gym.
I guess that's better than looking like you just left the accounting office.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I took Yale on my.
He's a
side,
little dude.
so-
He's like 5'9" and stocky. I swear. If you look at him, you guys would
I
laugh.
still have the Northwestern Florida Atlantic game up. I guess I need to switch over because this thing's over.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's done.
All right.
Dude, the Hilltoppers just scored again.
All right, I got to get TBS up here. All right, Matt, what are you looking at? What's your action?
I am looking at. I'm going to go with Nebraska. Nebraska is underdogs by 1.5.
And
against
who's
Texas
Nebraska
A&M.
playing?
Texas A&M.
Okay.
Ooh, that's an 8-9.
And then I'm going to take Duke.
Duke is Duke.
I'm going to take
They're on TV more than
Leave It to Beaver.
Leave It to
reruns.
Beaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
They are
Pete Gillen.
That's going back a ways.
Yeah.
Is that Pete Gillen? I always thought that was
Pete
Jim
Gillen.
Calhoun.
No, that was Pete Gillen.
They are 12.5-point favorites. I'm going to take them.
Wait,
I'm
so
taking-
Duke, you're taking Duke by 4.5.
No.
Dude, the Hilltoppers up
12
3 and just with a steal. And my little dude who just left chemistry class is leading the way.
All right, so Matt, you got New Mexico plus 1.5.
No, I have Nebraska plus 1.5.
Okay, Nebraska plus 1.5, and what else do we got?
Duke minus 12.5.
Nebraska
Get in there.
plus 1.5. Duke minus 12.5. Is that? Are you just doing a two-teamer, or what do you got?
No, and then I got Alabama against Charlton minus 9.5.
Alabama minus 9.5.
And then I got, I have Wisconsin minus 5.5 taking on James Madison.
Okay, so you're going favorite heavy here. Is that it? You're doing a four-teamer?
4-teamer.
All right. So four-teamer would pay what? Would that pay 10 to 1, 20 to 1?
It would.
20 to 1.
No,
Is that what the rule?
no,
Is that what it
10
is? Like a 4-team parlay plays 10 to 1, or does it have to do with the odds of the games?
Well, it does have to do with the odds of the game, but generally, if the odds are all minus 110, which all these are, it's 10 to 1. Yeah, 10 to 1.
10 to 1. All right. And how many sandwiches are you putting up?
3.
You're putting up 3 sandwiches. Coz, what are you? How many are you willing to wager in exchange for his 3 sandwiches and him needing to hit all 4 of these?
I like his. I'll give you 5 sandwiches because it's just hard to get 4, man. It's hard to get. Now wait a minute, Matt.
Wait,
Do you have any unpaid child? Do you
So
have
wait, are you
any
saying you're
unpaid
gonna
child
give him-
support?
Are you saying you're giving 5 to 1, or you're going to give him 5 for his 3?
Oh! I'm sorry. What am I supposed to? Tell me what I'm supposed to do.
He's
Well,
putting up 3.
Well, regular. So you're telling me what the payoff would be. Normally in Vegas, it would be 30 sandwiches. That would be off of 3 sandwiches because it's 10 to 1. So something you can't go 5 sandwiches on a bet that's supposed to be 30.
Well, he
to 1.
can because it's up to us to bid it out. What we feel
Well,
comfortable with.
Okay, I mean,
Again, 3 months into the show, I'm still unclear of the concept.
So, Coach, are you going 5 to 1, or you're just saying you put up 5 for his 3?
5 for his 3. Is that how? Is that how?
All right, Matt. I'll give you 3 to 1. I'll give you 9 for your 3.
Wow.
Jesus.
You can have it.
you
All
guys are. You guys, that is completely not. You got to get.
The
me
more
at
you
least
pick,
5.
Matt, the harder it is. Unless you've got unpaid child support,
Well, no,
then I'd
I-
take you.
I
I'd give
know-
it to you.
How
How
can
much
you?
you've got on pay child support? Oh my God, I'm dying. That
I
was
do
the
not
line
have
of the
unpaid
show
child
right there.
support. From
Wow.
what I could,
Dude,
from what I could
dude,
tell,
Western
I don't have any
Kentucky-
children. I don't think so.
I know. Western Kentucky's up 8 right now with less than 2 minutes to play in the first half, and they've got the ball.
Look at Jim.
And they
He's
just
so
took the
distracted.
mighty might 5'10". They're up 10. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna go get my Western Kentucky Hilltoppers jersey on.
Okay, you know what? All right. So, are we ready for Get MF?
Yeah, hold on 1 second, Matt. I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna make this better for you a little bit.
Go
I'm only
Hilltoppers.
gonna make you put up the 2.5 sandwiches that I owe you, and I'll pay you 9 if you win.
Okay,
If I win, my 2.5 sandwich debt to you is wiped out.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
So
sounds
yeah,
good.
let's get to Get MF'd,
All right.
and we only have like 2 minutes left. So go for it, Matt.
All right. So,
Matt Fowler may be
I
a
think-
congenial producer by day.
But in this segment, he's ditching the nice guy routine.
Time to get MF'd.
this one's an easy one. We have a show that we're due from 10 a.m. to noon every day, Monday through Friday.
Pacific.
Yeah,
Pacific
Pacific
time.
is because that's
And-
it's actually right in the heart of my day
And I
and
would-
screws up
and
my
I-
living.
And I was just going to say, thank you for proving my point. I would expect the participants of the show to be focused on the show. But Jim Kozimar is not focused on the show. He's focused on the Hilltoppers. And you know what? We all put in a lot of effort for this show. And
We did?
So,
Well, we don't all
so-
all do it.
So I have a problem with Jim just sitting on his couch chilling.
So you're
How
unclear
is
of
this
Get
a
MF.
Get MF'd?
Yeah, you're unclear of the concept. You're supposed to read a sports story and ask us a question on an opinion. not tell me that what you think or just. I sent you one day. I took the time to send you the idea of what Get MF is, and all you had to do is listen. That's all you had to do.
All right. Well, you know what? Fine. How's this? What do you guys think this Shohei thing goes away or not? Quick version.
No.
I mean,
You know what? I think Major League Baseball is going to do everything possible to sweep it under the rug and make the interpreter the fall guy. There was something that Bisa sent out earlier where there was a reporter that went all around the Dodgers clubhouse and asked questions.
He went to the Angels clubhouse.
Angels clubhouse?
Jeff Fletcher,
Okay.
who we had on the show, Coach. As
You
County
tell the story. You tell the story.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Fletcher, he was on with the spring swing talking about the Angels. He tweeted out this morning that he's talked to former teammates of Ohtani, and they unilaterally, the consensus is he never paid attention to other sports. So it's unlikely that he was the one placing the bets or having them placed on his behalf.
So, that's a well-reported story. I will say there aren't a lot of players who would say, "Oh yeah, this effing guy used to want to bet me on everything." That they did that to Michael
20
Jordan.
seconds.
It didn't tear him down. So I think Major League Baseball will try to quiet this, squash it.
Hey, that does it for another great week. Coz, it's been
Well,
fun,
3-day
Matt.
week.
Thanks to Tim Miles for joining us. Tony's coming up in a few minutes. See you, everybody.
Peace.